Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. We come to you on this Friday morning, the first day of May. May is my favorite month of the year, always has been. One of the reasons is the Derby, which is tomorrow, which is we'll get to in a minute. But the other one is you wait and wait for summer. I've always been a summer person. Most people are, I think, but I have always loved summer. And May is such a harbinger of things to come. The weather finally starts to turn for real in the next 10 days, where every day it's nice. And there's a lot going on. But more than that, it's just about that summer's coming. And that means all the good things that summer has always meant, including Saratoga, which is right around the corner again. So, hey, anytime you're looking ahead towards Saratoga, the Belmont will be in Saratoga this year again for the last time. It's a long Saratoga meet. And as I tell you all the time, and I've told people forever, and I can't tell you how many people have come up to me in Saratoga through the years as I walk through the grandstand. Um, and everyone's in there, their picnic tables and their chairs and everything else, and they stop and say hello. And uh, I can't tell you how many countless people have said to me, "We took your advice. We came up for a weekend, and now we come every year." And it's just one of those places that no matter who you meet, I met someone recently, and the guy said to me, "My dad was in horse racing," and he said, I never got involved. He's a successful businessman. And he said, but every year I loved going to Saratoga. And it's just a happy place. It really is. It's a really special place. And like I said, uh if you need to go away for a summer weekend, maybe plane fares are going to be a lot more expensive than you thought because of what's going on in the world. And you decide the vacation's a little steep, well, hop in your car. You don't have to stay in Saratoga proper. They soak you for the hotel rooms. They kill you. Once the meet's open, they kill you. Okay? They triple the prices or quadruple the prices. I don't even know. You can stay along the Northway. You can stay in Albany. It's only a half hour from Albany. Very reasonable places there, right where the Giants used to train at the school there, right near there, right on that Western Avenue. Plenty of places there. And you hop in your car in the morning, you're 30 minutes from the track. So again, if you need a little getaway over the summer, I always say go to Saratoga, and you will thank me for it because it's a very special place. Now, as I said, Derby tomorrow. We'll wait and see who the Knicks are going to play. So we'll wait for that. The Celtic and Sixers, who are looking very formidable right now. I mean, when you look at it, if they're completely healthy, they are a good team. Um, Game 7 tomorrow night in Boston. Now we know there's also an issue with Tatum, so we'll see how that plays out. But the Knicks off their historic, dominant, unbelievable, turn the town upside down performance can now rest and wait and see what happens. Now, 2 weeks ago, before the post positions were drawn, I had decided on Renegade as my lead horse and everything behind him. I love the way he ran. I love the way he finished uh, at Oaklawn. And then two things happened. One, he got the one, which is a killer for a closer, and he's a dead closer. Two, he's got a quarter crack, which scares me. A lot of people ignore quarter cracks. Clearly, he's trained well this week. Todd Pletcher is who I've known for 40 years, 30 years. Uh, One of the great horsemen of all time. Would never put a horse out there that isn't completely ready. They know what to do with the shoes. I know they're wearing special three quarters on the front. But the quarter crack bothers me because you know what? These horses are young. They're going a longer distance. They're in a very, very pressurized situation tomorrow. I just don't like to hear it. So the quarter crack by itself might not have gotten me off him as the winner, but that and the one. And I know he's got Ortiz on him, and I know he's a very talented horse, and I know they really expected big things out of this horse. He co-owns the horse with the Lowe's, who have been in racing forever. Um, what happened is the Lowe's bred the horse. Rapoli bought it, and then the Lowe's said, "Hey, we had second thoughts. Once in a while they sell a couple, just to basically pay the bills or to pay taxes or whatever." And they sold them. Mike bought them for $975, and then they decided to go partners. So that's how they wound up being partners, because they're both very prominent owners. Obviously, Rapoli is. He teams with other people. He buys horses with different groups. And so they're a very formidable ownership group. You got Pletcher, you got Ortiz, you got the best connections you could have in racing, but he's got the rail, and it's been a long time. It's been a very long time since anybody been able to navigate that. To navigate it as a closer is going to take a miracle. It really is. He could be the best horse and still not win a race. I mean, that's why he's the favorite, still at 5-1 as of now. I don't think he'll be the post time favorite. They're really on a couple of horses that are lightly raced. They're getting a lot of play. Now, they're great trainers. You're talking about Bill Mott's horse. You're talking about Chad Brown's horse. Are getting a lot of play. Emerging Markets is 11-1. Chief Wallaby, who you've heard about for 2 weeks now, about how great he's been training, and he has. I went back and watched the Florida Derby over and over and over again, because to me, it's the key race of the whole campaign. Will the blinkers move Chief Wallaby up? Bill thinks they will. Hey, Bill's one of the great trainers of all time. We know that. He won the Derby last year with sovereignty. I think 6 times in history, the trainer has won back-to-back. I think the last one was Baffert. Lucas did it. Ben Jones did it. I mean, so it's been done, but it's rare. I mean, think about winning the Derby, then think about winning 2 Derbies in a row. And this would be same trainer, and his main jock, which is Junior Alvarado. Right now, you have Renegade 5-1, Commandment 7-1, the Puma 7-1. So Happy is 6-1 coming out of the West Coast. I'm a little biased against the West Coast horses, even the Baffert horses. Chief Wallaby's 10-1. Further Ado is 7-1, all the way on the outside with Johnny V. The ageless Johnny V on the A-team. And Incredible is 27-1. Mention him because I like him as a bit of a long shot to hit the board. This morning, another scratch. Chester Broman, who is a wonderful man in racing, and actually has sat to my left for as long as I can ever remember. He is in the box next to me to the left. That's the Broman box, right next to mine. I know the whole family. I know Mr. Broman forever. Like him a lot. He's a very successful businessman, builder. Does major jobs. Big prominent businessman. They scratched him. Kenny McPeak scratched Right to Party. I thought Right to Party was in over his head anyway. I don't think the horses from the Wood Memorial are going to be able to. They're not fast enough to win in here. But this is a wide open Derby. It really is. Now, a lot of times the Derby is wide open. Like last year, it wasn't. Sovereignty was going to win, I thought. This is a wide open Derby, and I think more so because of the 2 things I mentioned with Renegade. I'll get to my analysis in a second. As far as things to watch here, you got an interesting group that comes from California. Most of them have speed. Okay, and this morning, let me tell you who drew in. O'Neill drew in with another horse, with Robusta. That was the one who drew in for Right to Party. So everybody's gotten in except my old buddy Dallas Stewart's horse, Corona de Oro, who is the only one that didn't get in. The 3 of the also eligibles have gotten in with the scratches we've had. Robusta comes out of the San Diego Derby. Let me be honest, didn't run well in the San Diego Derby. Clearly has speed, no question about it. A lot of the horses out of the San Diego Derby do have speed. Baffert has 2 horses, Lithmus Test and, Potent, who has worked unbelievably this week. I think even works faster than Baffert wanted. The horse worked in 57, and I know Baffert said afterwards, "Hey, we had him under a hold. I never thought he was going that fast. We couldn't believe the clock. I think we caught the track right after it was the fastest it was all day in the morning." The bottom line is the horse worked faster. That's a work that's a little quick. It's not what you want. There was a couple of those this week. Mullins horse also worked very quick this week. Very quick. Earlier in the week, uh, worked 45, and that's a lot of work to put into the horse right before the race. I know he's gone real easy with the horse since. That's Intrepido, the 3 horse. You got speed in this race. You always look to make sure you have speed. If you have lone speed, it wins. I don't care. Even in the Derby, where I don't like to play speed, it's a closer track. It's a mile and a quarter. There's a lot of horses going to take their shots, who are going to either move, leave for placement, stalk. Keep the pace lively. The 3, the 4, the 14, the 16, speed. The 8, the 15, the 18 will stalk. There's enough speed. Should be a lively pace. I don't think it'll be a suicidal pace. I think it'll be a lively pace. I don't think it'll be pedestrian. I think they got enough guys here who are going to crank it up. You got some horses that clearly have that kind of ability to do that. That have speed. There's no question about it. So I think we'll get the pace. We'll be honest, and that's all you're looking for. There's always going to be a lot of movement. The battle for position. Remember, not only are these horses, these 3-year-olds, going a mile and a quarter for the first time, but they are walking into a scenario where there are 150,000 people. They're usually at racetracks that are very quiet in the afternoon. They work in the morning, they race in the afternoon. Rarely, except on a big weekend somewhere, is there a crowd that would disturb them. And even if that crowd was 20,000 or a massive weekend crowd somewhere like Saratoga of 50,000, this is 150,000. There's a wall of sound here that would knock you off your feet. These horses are not used to this. Then you take into account they will never again enter a race where there are 20 horses in the race. Nobody wants a race with 20 horses in it, but they want to give everybody a chance to get to the Derby. So they run 20. There's always going to be traffic problems. If you're a closer, you're going to deal with early position. You're going to first deal, everybody does, with what happens out of the gate. You can lose your race out of the gate. After that, now you're positioning. Then as the closers start to enter the race, that's where you get all kinds of horses trying to move for position, and you have tiring horses that were out on the front who start to fade through the field. You got to deal with them too. This is an incredibly tough journey for any jockey, even the greatest jockeys in the world, and that's what these guys are. So you need more than a little racing luck. You can be the best horse in the Derby and not win. It can happen all the time because you can get a nightmarish trip where you could get sawed off and be out of the race, or you can get blind switched out, or you can just get knocked off your feet 3 different times and have to restart. I mean, there's so many things that happen. It's chaos. It really is. And you have to take that into account. Now, before I tell you what I'm thinking and how I see the race unfolding, let me get these other Bet Rivers things out of the way. First off, if you're looking for a betting angle, check out the top picks news feed in your Bet Rivers app. The Bet Rivers banter news feed is filled with picks from Bet Rivers network personalities and more handicappers to give you expert insights and the fun of handicapping, obviously. Throw a couple of bucks on your favorite team. Everybody loves these same game parlays, where you can turn, a couple bucks into a nice payday. Tap the top picks icon in your Bet Rivers app Get the information, see what the guys who do it for a living are picking. Doesn't mean you're gonna believe that they're right. They're wrong more than they're right. But they might give you some insight. They might give you an angle. They might see something or give you some information that you didn't know. Take that and then go with what you believe in. Take everything in, take the information in, take the picks in, look, and then make your call. When you got a good feeling, go with it. But the bottom line is the more information you have, the better equipped you are to make the right play. Now, also, Bet Rivers and the Mike Francesa podcast are helping you get into the swing of the baseball season with a special baseball bonus bet. Bettors in New York and New Jersey can get a $10 bonus bet to use on anything in baseball when they enter the code Francesa 417, Francesa 417 in the Bet Rivers app. The code again, Francesa 417. It's available to Bet Rivers bettors in New York and New Jersey. Offer ends on May 3rd. Must be 21 or older. Eligible players only. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER in New Jersey. In New York, 877-HOPE. 877-8-HOPE-NY. So 8778-HOPE, HOPENY, or text 467-369. Okay. I gave you the odds right now. The favorite's 5-1, typical Derby odds. You have this year, though, a very unusual situation. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 horses between 7-1 and 11-1. That's a lot. That's more than normal. So you don't have as many big balloons that can run. Now, one of the things you look at in this race that perplexed me that I had to deal with, and I told you about it, I was mentioning it the other day. I have so much trouble with the foreign horses. The Japanese horses are getting better and better and better. Everyone's waiting for a Japanese horse to win the Derby. They desperately want to win a Derby. When these foreign horses come in, it is very hard to assimilate them into where they stand. Do they have the class? I find it very difficult. Okay, they haven't been over the track, which is a negative. I like horses, which I'll get to in a minute, that have been over the Churchill Downs track, but especially the horses that have won over the Derby, over the Churchill Downs track. This year you have 3 outsiders or foreigners. You have Dan and Bourbon, you have Wonder Dean, and you have Six Speed. I'm not using any of them. A lot of people like Wonder Dean. A lot of people like Wonder Dean. He's trained well. I just think that looking at him, okay, I went over him. I spent time on him. I don't think he's of the same class. Part of this is, okay, his last race is real good, but that means he has to come here. He ran March 28th. He won the UAE Derby, which is a grade 2. Okay. Ran well. Ran very well. Bid the clear leader. Led final furlong comfortably. Okay. That was March 28th. He comes here. He's got a trip here. He's got to go through quarantine. He's got to do all the little things. And then he's got to get over a track he's never been on and then win here. I think it's such a tall order. I think it is an incredibly tall order. And one of these days, I'm going to get beat by one of these horses. Now, Forever Young already screwed me up in the exacta before. And he became a giant. He became a great horse internationally. If I get beat by one of them, so be it. But you can't bet everybody. One of the things you have to realize in this race, you can't bet everybody. There's a lot of horses. They come from a lot of different angles. I think the Wood Memorial race, which was won by Albus, Bill Mott's son Riley has 2 horses in the race. I'm sure that makes Bill a very proud papa. Albus, who won the Wood Memorial, nice horse, has won at Churchill Downs or has raced at Churchill Downs. He's going to have a nice career. He's a cut below. I think everybody in the Woods a cut below. Right, the party finished second to him. He scratched this morning. You have to have raced at a certain level time-wise to race in this race. Now, so that dismisses those horses. Then you look at the California, you look at the preps, and you decide which prep. To me, without any question, the Florida Derby was the race this year. Commandment by a nose over the Puma, by a half over Chief Wallaby. All ran impressively. All ran good numbers. Wallaby did not want to come in between horses, which is the reason for the blinkers. It was only his third race. What happened with Wallaby was, which is a Bilmont horse, which is lightly raced, okay? Did not, in the old days, you used to throw out horses that didn't run as 2-year-old. That's all gone now. This horse, in January, broke its maiden incredibly impressively. Beat the Puma that day at Gulfstream. The only jockey's ever raced that. They were looking to shop him for a race. I know Bill's going to give the horse out of the race 6 weeks off. He looked for a spot. They couldn't find one, so they decided to go in the Fountain of Youth, a grade 2, in his second start. Bill didn't want to do that. I'm sure he wanted to go in an allowance race. Couldn't get in an allowance race to fill. It's very hard to get the non-winners of one of the grounds allowance races to fill a lot of the times. I've been through it a million times. Okay. So he ran him in the Fountain of Youth, and he ran big. He missed to Commandment by a nose, by a neck. So we brought him back in the Florida Derby. He ran really well. Really well. They were all there together. Commandment came on the outside, beat Puma by a nose on the wire. You couldn't even really tell who won between him and Puma. It was that close, but Commandment has a habit of winning. And then Chief Wallaby just would not go through the hole. A lot of young horses don't want to go through tight spots. Okay. The blinkers will keep his mind on business, make him a little sharper, and allow him to do that. And if Bill says that's going to make him better, he's been training incredibly. He is a very impressive horse. Now, let me get to Commandment here. Renegade, I thought, would be the favorite, I told you. Now, he's still a favorite, but he's 5-1. I don't think he'll be the favorite at post time, but it'll be close. I gave you the 2 knocks on him. If Renegade had the 10, I'd probably pick him to win the race. He doesn't. He has the 1, which is a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. They can downplay it all they want. It's a nightmare. Plus the quarter crack, which doesn't make me any happier either. So I'm not picking him to win. Is he a good horse? Absolutely. Is he capable of winning this race? Absolutely. He will need a trip from heaven to get there. Now, that leads me to Commandment. The knock on Commandment, the only knock on Commandment, the only reason why this horse is not the heavy favorite is because 2 of the greatest jockeys in the world have gotten off the horse. Not only that, they got off him after wins. Now, part of it is the great jockey. And here I'm talking about Ortiz, and I'm talking about Pratt. Ortiz is considered by most people the most efficient, the best jockey in the world. I love Pratt. I think Pratt is a genius rider. Love him. I think I looked at him at Saratoga. He moves horses up. He's a master, especially on the grass, where trip is so important. That has bothered people. Now, does that mean they're right? Now, remember, there can be other circumstances why that happens. It doesn't just have to be the horse. It can be the relationship. Ortiz decided to go with Rapoli and Pletcher. Does a lot of work with them. Does a lot of work with Pletcher. Everyone deals with Pletcher. He's a machine. The other one is Pratt, who does a lot of business with Chad Brown. Chad Brown, an emerging market. This is not a horse that you would expect to see Chad Brown bring into the Derby. And as Chad Brown said, I didn't bring this horse to the Derby. This horse brought me to the Derby. Meaning, he's been so impressive, I got to run him. He broke his maiden in February. Then they ran him in the Louisiana Derby. He won it by a head. He's had 2 races. That's it. He didn't run last year. He's got 2 races. 2 race horses don't usually win the Kentucky Derby. But he said this horse has been impressive, and he's been good in the morning. He's been very impressive in the morning, and he's one of those, what they call the wise. Every week they call the wise. There's 2 wise guy horses this year, and you can decide which one you want. Emerging Market is one. The other one is Chief Wallaby. The horses that everyone's talking up. Pratt didn't ride Commandment. He's riding Emerging Markets. So now people in the racing world are saying, wait a second. I know Commandment looks good. Heck, Commandment's had 5 races in his life. He lost his first race as a maiden, and you don't even know if he was all out in that race because a lot of times trainers do not even turn the screws the first race. So he finished an even 4th, which is a lot of times guys don't want to win the first time out. So I even throw that out. I don't even pay attention to that first race. Now, second race, he wins. He runs in the stake, he wins. He runs in the Fountain of Youth, he wins. He runs in the Florida Derby, he wins. He's 4 for 5 lifetime. He's run over 100 Beyer twice. He's won at Churchill Downs. He's trained by Brad Cox, who's one of the great trainers in America. As good as anybody there is right now on the top shelf. Okay? The horse, to me, is 4 for his last 4. He knows how to win. He beat a very good field in the Florida Derby. He's run the numbers you want. He's won over the Churchill Downs Strip. He's trained well this week. The only knock, why did Ortiz get off him? Why did Pratt get off him? They could be wrong. Are they? Or do they know something we don't know? I don't know what it is. This horse wins every time. He's trained well this week. I wanted to see if I saw some flaw in his training. No way. Cox had 3. He had a scratch 1. Now he's got 2. He's got Further Ado on the outside, who's run the fastest race of the year, but beat a nothing field with that race. So do you want the time or do you want the competition? He's got the outside. He's a stalker. He'll move position. You'll see him prominently placed with Johnny V. Johnny V is great, an all-time jock. Now, Commandment. I mentioned Further Ado. Then you come, I mentioned Chief Wallaby. Now you come to the Puma. The Puma trained by the guy who gave you Mage. Remember I gave you Mage? You paid $31. I picked him. Same trainer. This horse looks the part. He's big and strong. He's trained well. Lost the Florida Derby by a nose, and you really couldn't even separate them. It was that close. When they came back, they were showing both horses. Usually they put the camera on the winner. They were showing both horses. They didn't know who won. But Commandment won it on the outside. And Wallaby was a half length back in between horses. The Puma is a quality horse. There's no question. Commandment beat him. They both have the same running style. They're going to come off the pace. He's another horse you have to watch. I mentioned Incredible. Incredible won the Virginia Derby. He's a closer. He's got to be faster. He's got to class up a little bit. If you're looking for a long shot, I like him. If you want a bomb shot for second or third to make your triple, to make your superfecta, this horse is a good horse to include. Incredible. It's got the 11 plus. As I mentioned, he has won over the course. Yeah, how many horses have won over the course this year? Have won at Churchill Downs? 3. Commandment, Incredible, and Further Ado have all won at Churchill Downs. That matters. How many horses have run 100 Beyer or close to it? You want to be right at that number. Renegade ran a 98. Commandments run over 100 twice. The Pumas run 100. Wallabies run 100 and a 99. And Further Ado ran a 106 in winning the Bluegrass at Keeneland by 11 lengths, but beat nothing. Beat nothing. So the 11 lengths, don't let it bother you. It's not going to bother you, but don't let it make you so excited either. The time is great, but you beat nothing. Come here, Tay. Come here, Tay. Talking to Taylor. Come here, Taylor. Lie down, baby. Good girl. So here we go. Here we go. What do I think? I dropped Renegade, who would have been my pick before the disastrous number 1 spot, to 3rd. I have 3 horses that I will use in exotics behind them. That will be the Puma, Incredibolt, and Further Ado. And I have spent the last day trying to figure out, do I go with Bill Mott, who, when I have a horse trains for Lee Einsiedler and myself, Lee and Bill are very close. I'm not as close to Bill as a friend as Lee is. They're closer. They have a very good, close personal relationship, but he has trained. He's done a great, listen, he's one of the all-time greats. There's no question. Won the race last year. When he says a horse is going well, you don't even think about it. And he loves his horse. It's between Commandment and Wallaby. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that in a race like this, make multiple wages. Boxes. Shift who's on top. I will use Commandment and Wallaby both on top, with Renegade, the Puma, Incredibolt, and Further Ado. I'll use both of them on top. I don't know if I bet triples, but if I do bet some triples, I will use those 2, 1, 2, and then put the other horses behind them. I might even slide one of the real bomb shots that gets to be 50, 60 to 1 that I think has a chance to sneak in for 3rd if I play triples, stuff like that. But here we go. Here's my order of finish. 1, Commandment. Why? He rocketed up on the outside on a slow pace and got up. He wins. He's won 4 straight times. I believe in the 4 races that he's tried to win in his life. He's won all 4 of them. That's impressive. He's won over the track. That's impressive. He's run fast. That's impressive. He's got a big-time trainer. That's impressive. Commandment 1, Chief Wallaby 2, Renegade 3, the Puma, Incredibolt, Further Ado, in my exotics. So I'm going with the Commandment. I'm going with Commandment. It's not the Commandment. It's Commandment to win the race. The 6 horse, followed by Chief Wallaby, followed by Renegade, and the Puma. And I'm using Incredibolt, who is now 27 to 1 and probably even go up both there. I'll be using him in my exotics as a long shot. If I was going to use a real bomb shot, I didn't love the way you could use Emerging Markets as a horse that could get up for 3rd or 4th if you're playing exotics. The other thing, Golden Tempo as a quarter crack closed well, but not crazy well, okay? The chart says willingly. Could sneak up and get a 3rd or 4th. That'd be one I'd look at a big price. If it's a really big price. So again, 1 Commandment, 2 Chief Wallaby, 3 Renegade, 1, 2, 3 under the wire in the Derby. Now, like I said, I'll wait on the Knicks. We'll be with you. We'll preview in the next series. You can, there goes Taylor because someone's at the door. Now, you can get into who you want to play, but I'll tell you something. If the Sixers are going to be healthy with that unit, with those guards, and with the guys they have, with that 5 that they start, I think I'd rather play the Celtics if I were the Knicks right now. Now, the Tatum issue is one we have to wait and see if he's even going to play. This rumor he might not even play tomorrow. Let's see what happens. Okay. That series has really taken a turn. No question about it. Game 7 tomorrow night, standalone game tomorrow night. Celtics and Sixers, game 7. Hey, great to watch. Um, the Oaks tonight is in prime time. Uh, we send our best to Portnoy, who has he buys great horses. He bought this horse out of her first race. She's a really nice filly. I love the way she moves. Now, she's got a grass background. She's has not run on dirt. I don't know if she'll run on dirt or not, but I can tell you this: she can run. She's gonna have a real good career. I love the way she moves. I think she's well built. I love the way she moves. So I don't know. It's hit or miss whether she can run. Now she's getting bet, but that's because he's got fans. It's like a lot of times my horses through the years they've bet him. That's as the big money comes in, it'll level off. But the horse can run. The question is, can it run on the grass on the dirt? And it's a very wide open Oaks. I don't even have a winner for you because it's so wide open. There's a lot. That's a good betting race, and it'll be in prime time tonight. As a matter of fact, I know the people, the locals who love to go to the Oaks and then go to the Derby, they're not happy that they're going that late tonight. But you know, TV rules, and Churchill wants to be a big player and a big company, and the whole deal. So that's the bottom line. They had a big crowd yesterday, though. 50,000 on a Thursday of this week. That's unbelievable. That's an impressive showing, and they'll have 150,000 tomorrow. And I've said this to you many times. That includes Super Bowl and everything else. I've been to the Derby 3 times. I said I'm never going back again until I got a horse there. I haven't been able to get a horse there. Not easy. If it's not, I'm not going back again. It is the best run event, big event. I've never gone to the Olympics. I've never gone to the Indianapolis 500. I think I've hit every other big sporting event. Okay. Now you can't compare this to something like going to an NBA final where there's 20,000 people or a Stanley Cup final where there's 20,000 people. Super Bowls have been to 1,000,000, as you know, and it's well run. There's no question. But I was utterly amazed at how well run the Kentucky Derby is on Derby Day. There's 150,000 people in the place. You can bet. You can get up and bet. I mean, you can move around. I mean, it's amazing. You can get served. I mean, it's amazing how well they run that event. I was so impressed, and I've loved the times I've gone. I've also had a penchant through the years to do. I told you, I never went on the Breeders' Cup ever, ever, never. Although I did win a Breeders' Cup race this year because Bill Mott had a horse that he liked a lot, and he told us the horse was going to run really well, so we made win bets on it, and the horse won by like 5 lengths. So I actually won money on the Breeders' Cup this year, which is a rarity for me. But I have cleaned up on the Derby in my life. I love the Derby as a betting race. I love it. Now, usually I have a strong first horse and a long second shot. I'm not as committed to my first horse this year as I would have been, but I like the first one too. Commandment, Chief Wallaby, 1-2. Could go either way. I could go either way. I went Commandment. I could kick myself if Wallaby wins. I'll root for Wallaby because obviously Mott's my trainer. But and we're betting, just to let you know, a Wallaby Incredible Mott Exacta, which at 11-1 and 27-1 would be a great Exacta. So and that's one we're definitely betting. That's a total given, and that's a nice price. Mott and his son is training very, very well. So that would be a very nice thing. Now, one other thing I want to mention. I mentioned that it was May. Okay. And through the years, you've heard me mention my good buddy Lee Einsiedler, who's my horse racing partner. We own every horse we have. We own together. Lee, I first met him years ago when he came to the Mike and the Mad Dog show, and he was developing a product, and he wanted to promote it, and he decided to use FAN to promote it, and the Mike and the Mad Dog show to promote it in a very big way. It was Grey Goose vodka, and obviously it became a sensation. And Lee did very well because they sold it to Bacardi for $2.2 billion. Um, he then did Casamigos Tequila, another home run. Uh, and now he has started a new drink. Now, I haven't been able to sample them because I just had my knee replaced. I'm not allowed to partake. These are the rage now, as you know. These packed cocktails, 12 ounces, the whole thing, are all the rage. 4.9 alcohol, not a lot of calories. Okay. Very refreshing. The whole thing. Now, remember, it's still alcohol. So take it into account. It's not for kids. Treat it responsibly. It still is alcohol, but not, alcohol like you think of in terms of, 80 proof. This is 4.9 proof. Por que no? Which, if you remember your high school Spanish, and this is for me because I was never very good in Spanish, why not? Okay. Why not? This is two flavors they have, and I have not tried it, but everyone who has raved about it. It is now out. It is just on the shelves here in the Northeast, in Massachusetts, in Jersey, in New York. Por que no? In this cute little can, 12 ounces, and it comes in two flavors. It is tequila, vodka, and a mixture of fruit juices. Now, it's tequila, vodka, and mango and guava. Now, you're telling me, why is it mango and guava? Hey, these guys, this is big business for them. This is big science for them. They go and they test a gazillion combinations to see which one they like best. And they came up with two that they loved. The first is, as I said, this one here that has a little yellow mango and guava. So they all have tequila and vodka, mango and guava. And the other one is watermelon, pineapple, chili, and lime. Now, how would you come up with those four together? I have no idea. But again, as they said, they did hundreds upon hundreds of combinations, had them tested, and these were the ones where they came away saying, "We have created something that is just perfecto." Okay. They say it has a great taste. It's refreshing. So you're coming off the beach, you're out on a boat, you're coming off the golf course. I'm talking to adults now. This is not for kids. Okay. And you get a cold one of these, and it's right what you want on a summer afternoon with your feet up and the sun setting. So check it out. Por que no comes in a 4-pack. Okay, I think it sells for $12.99. The 4-pack. They might sell them individually in some stores that you might go into. You have to buy it where alcoholic beverages are sold. 12-ounce cans, no calories, no sugar added, gluten free. So all the little things that you have to hit now when you sell these products. Okay, so yes, I'm biased. Lee's one of my best friends. He does great work in this regard. He's had hit after hit, home run after home run. He spent a lot of time with this. He spent a lot of time traveling back and forth to all these places where they make the product, dealing with the biggest, he knows everybody in the business. He's been in the liquor business his whole life. And it's changing, obviously. And these kind of drinks have become incredibly popular. I see it at Saratoga. It's what everybody drinks. And there were basic ones like vodka and lemonade or vodka and iced tea. What do you expect for a summer drink? Here's something a little different with a little zest to it, something a little more, that'll create a little more interest as far as having a different taste. I mean, I don't know exactly what you're going to get from watermelon, pineapple, chili, and lime, but they say it's good. They say it tastes great, as a matter of fact. Por que no? So just right now, it's just hitting the stores now. Check it out, as we head towards May, as we head towards Memorial Day, as we head towards summer, as you head towards the golf course or the beach or the boat or wherever you might be going, or some, off the golf, coming off the golf course, just, having a barbecue in the backyard, whatever it might be, check it out. ¿Por qué no? Which of course means why not? Even I know that. I remember that much Spanish. I remember hola, I remember por qué no, I remember a couple of things. I wasn't very good at it, that's for sure. I don't even know how I passed, to be honest with you, because I felt like I didn't know what the heck I was talking about ever. And you know how they used to put you in when I was in high school, they'd put you in these, what they called labs, right? Now they probably have them everywhere. But you'd go in and you'd sit at a desk and you'd put a headset on, and all of a sudden, the guy's speaking Spanish to you and you gotta speak back. And the teacher can eavesdrop on you. So you think you can just sit there and not answer, and the teacher's like, "Why aren't you answering?" Blah, 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 blah. So I was like, they gave us one of our big tests was that way, and I was like, I couldn't have passed it. I don't even know what the guy was talking about. But somehow I got through the course. I don't know how in high school, but I didn't take any languages, thank God. I didn't want any part of language. I didn't want any part of math in college. Keep me away from those subjects. I'll be fine. But those are my two. I didn't want any geometry or advanced algebra. My daughter is a math whiz. She got it from her mother. Okay. She takes kinds of math I've never even heard of. I couldn't get a 20 on her tests. Okay. The bottom line, I hated geometry. Algebra was okay. I hated geometry. I hated anything past geometry. And I didn't like languages either. And the only one I ever took was Spanish, and I was, like I said, I was terrible at it. But I didn't take either of those in college, thank God. So if you give me English and history, I'll knock it out of the park all week. But if you give me the others, eh. So again, 4K no, 2 flavors. Check it out as we head towards this summer season. Okay. And remember, Commandment, Chief Wallaby, Renegade, 1, 2, 3. Use the Puma and Incredible. Further ado in your exotics. Good luck. There's no better day. Watch the Oaks tonight, when you get home from work. Watch the Derby tomorrow, and then you got the Celtics and the Lakers game 7. You get sprinkling a little Yankees. They'll hit a couple of home runs for you. I'm not mentioning the Mets. I want it to be a happy weekend. Okay, I don't want to torture you. I'm trying to be nice to Met fans, giving you diversions. And if you're a Met fan, don't hit 200 of these because you're, watching the game. Because, anything is possible with Met fans these days. It is that bad. The ship be sinking, as we know. We'll see you soon.